What do you think is the biggest event that will happen in the next 50 years? The water wars will begin. Protracted engagements to bring freedom to the poor fuckers with potable water to prop up the immensely wasteful nations that have run out US, Australia, South Africa, Central America, Central Asia and etc. People will eat dirt, vermin and each other during a famine, but there ain't no backup plan for no water. Hopefully by the time a truly feral pandemic will reduce swamp numbers. Most likely in no real order. 1. Collapse of Russia. 2. Collapse of the Republican Party. 3. Humans landing on Mars. 4. Permanent human settlement on the Moon, though it'll likely be a small research base that grows slowly over time. 5. Nuclear fusion reactors. 6. Climate change is going to fuck everything. Not likely, but what I'd also really want: human longevity. Come at me, brothers. China will collapse. Their population is aging and their economy can't sustain itself due to China's policies in general. A lot of the world doesn't care for China's stance on Taiwan, either. Their poor quality goods aren't helping, either. They'll fall apart. With the way that Russia is crumbling due to worldwide pressure, they may very well break into smaller states at some point. Within 10 years, we will crack nuclear fusion. 20 years, we'll launch a probe to another star system. 30 years, we'll find a world within 100 light-years suitable for human life. 50 years, catastrophic effects of climate change will have displaced billions of people, directly resulting in hundreds of millions of deaths. Water wars, land wars, mass migration, the works. I think we've got a pretty major economic reckoning coming. If we're smart, it will happen in the next 10-15 years and we will have some level of societal change after a few small events. If we let the oligarchy and demographic collapse continue to get much worse, I think it will be less societal change and more violent societal collapse. Plot twist: not World War III, but Solar War I. A war of Earth versus the remarkably advanced underground civilization on Mars. You'd think this would at least finally bring Earth together as one collective human race, but no. Half of Earth's population is extremely susceptible to Mars anti-Earth propaganda and actually on the side of Mars. The UK finally ends its failed experiment with privatised public services and nationalises them, leading to a decade of hopefulness and prosperity in the UK, which fuels our RD to lead the way in renewables and low-carbon lifestyles just in time to show the rest of the world and curb the climate crisis. I can dream right. President Camacho will reign supreme after sending each political rival to rehabilitation. More likely it's something to do with nuclear war, TBH. I believe Putin and Kim especially would rather end the world than be removed from power or concede defeat. They'll bomb someone in NATO and that'll be it. Life, or at least fossilized life, will be definitively discovered within our solar system. Astronomers will likely also find very suggestive signs of life far beyond our small corner of space. Perhaps the former will help inform the discovery of the latter. Cascading earthquake above 9.0 will devastate the west coast of Canada and the United States, causing a tsunami large enough to cross the entire Pacific Ocean and damage even Japan. It is before and will happen again. A dirty bomb will go off in a NATO state. Cold War II, because this Ukraine versus Russia thing can't just go on forever. China salivates more for Taiwan by the day. The ring came off my pudding can. My sister had the TV remote. The Second Great Depression, Trudeau still in charge. Sometimes I think about the massive famines that swept Europe in the early part of the 14th century. That could have been the defining crisis of the century. If the Black Death hadn't shown up several years later to eclipse it, the cost of energy will be close enough to be considered free and practically infinite. Due to renewables or fusion or space solar or something we don't know yet. As a result, we move into a post-scarcity world. A doctor I work with is convinced that because of global warming, we will soon experience more tropical diseases, especially in places we don't usually experience them. Water wars. Because we think of water as a commodity rather than a human right, regardless of what the UN says, we are going to eventually fight shooting wars over it. We are still insanely unprepared for an electromagnetic pulse EMP for a society that is almost entirely driven by electronics. Would cause trillions in damage. We will discover groundbreaking technology that will greatly further the lives of mankind, while simultaneously using it in the most destructive way possible. Aliens are revealed to be our ancestors as we are descendants of them and Earthlings. They are beings who have mastered time in other dimensions. Antarctica's ice sheet will melt into the ocean, effectively eliminating any possibility to hold back the drastic effects of climate change. Yellowstone will erupt, triggering the Cascadia subduction zone, causing massive wipeout of humanity. The world will never recover from this. Inexpensive, low-energy desalinization of ocean water. Everybody in the world will have as much inexpensive salt as they need. We'll see at least one living human leave us forever with effectively no understanding of where they are going. The biggest one sure to come is the sun sending out a super EMP, shutting down every electrical device on Earth. I feel like one of the major countries in the world will have a major collapse. Russia, us, China, something. This is the scariest Reddit post of the day. Oh my gosh, I'm probably going to have nightmares about it. America will fall, much like Rome. How it'll look, I can't say, but the USA we know will cease to be. Controllable nuclear fusion. Human landing on the moon again. Wars breaking out in the West Pacific. Joe Biden and Donald Trump are going to quit politics and open a lovely bed breakfast in Oregon. Aliens will land, get out of their spaceship, take one look around and go home in disappointment. The death of Keith Richards. Not just kidding. Keith will be around at least another 50 years. P. Diddy goes to jail for being the sole conspirator behind both Biggie and Tupac's murders. iPhone 65 will be incrementally better than iPhone 64, but not really worth the price. Severe freshwater shortage. And it won't be 50 years. It will be less than 25 years. I think a massive amount of people will be in the hospital with vape-related issues. Pandemic, but a bigger one, say mutated Ebola. Lose a third of world population. Some idiot will use a nuke somewhere and the world will become extra fucked. A terrorist group getting their hands on nuclear weapons to nuke the USA. Climate refugees that destabilize entire regions. Wars over water access. Poland will become a superpower. That we were always meant to be. It seems to me that artificial intelligence will become self-aware. The oceans being completely depleted of fish, not speculation. It will probably be something we've never imagined happening. My children will have to bury their father me, most likely. George R.R. Martin finishes a Song of Fire and Ice series. Cats start talking and will take over civilization.